Iran said it would open the Strait of Hormuz, a positive, welcome development. President Trump began essentially declaring victory, saying Iran has agreed to all of America's demands.
Right. I think we're witnessing a couple of different things. There's the jumble of what Trump is saying and the negotiations. He's putting out the U.S. position. No one really thinks we're there, but he's expressing confidence that this is where they're going to get to. The Iranians don't think so. It's not likely to happen. That's part of it. Another part of it is that somebody shorted the oil market today by hundreds of millions of dollars exactly 20 minutes before Trump made his announcement that everything was going to be great. And if you see that once, it could be a coincidence. But that's happened at least 3 times, if not more, since the war began. That's a pattern. And what that suggests is that there's rampant corruption and insider self-dealing going on with the president's up and down predictions of what's going to happen tomorrow in the negotiations and in the markets. And I'm sure that that's being investigated. We can't prove it, but it seems like the corruption that we're seeing in our government, maybe not the president, but people who are in the know, and the markets is having a priority over the actual negotiations to end the war. And that's a crazy thing that our system has never seen before, and that we have a lot of time processing and a lot of problem solving.
Joe, how do you respond to that idea that something seems fishy when it comes to what keeps happening with the market?
Look, I consider Josh a friend, but in all due respect, that is a baseless accusation based on the way you ended that statement. We have no proof of this. We can't say it actually happened, but because it did happen, it must
it's pretty suspicious.
It must be rampant corruption.
No, I'm being careful.
I'm just saying that's a pretty big stretch from
you don't think you think it's a coincidence? That's your view.
I have no idea, but I'm not going to go on a news network and say I am 100% confident in something. But look,
I didn't say I was 100% confident. I'm saying we should check it out.
Are we better today on this Friday than we were last Friday? I think the answer is collectively yes. Right. The blockade, right, has been the leverage. There's obviously talk about who controls the straits, whether it's open, whether it's not. That's all fine. The president has implemented the blockade a couple of days ago. That brought Iran back to the negotiating table, and we are in a better position today than we were a few days ago. And frankly, I know where this conversation is going to go. It's going to go into the he said, she said about what Trump said versus what the Iranians said, even though there's a lot of discord within the Iranian regime as to what's actually happening. I'm sick of giving the benefit of the doubt to the experts, because I've been sitting at this table long enough listening to quote-unquote experts who've said the oil is going to be $2.50 a barrel because of this war. Gas prices will be $8 at the pump. We're going to have immediate ground war. There'll be immediate Russian intervention. There's going to be, everything.
Yeah, but the question really is,
all of this has been wrong. So why are we always
are you in a better position than
why are we giving Trump? We never give Trump the benefit of the doubt, but the experts, we always give them the benefit of the doubt.
Are we in a better position than we were after the Obama-Iran nuclear deal that Trump tore up in 2018? That's the question. The question is, Trump said, well, they were very close to a nuclear weapon. But we don't know that because the inspectors were kicked out of the country when they tore up the deal. So we had 8 years of not having inspectors on the ground, which we would have had if they had not torn up that deal. So now we go into this situation where you have Trump saying they're very close, the Israelis saying they're very close, but the intelligence community here in America under Donald Trump in March of 2025, just last March, were saying they were not developing, and that the Ayatollah had told them that had not endorsed this idea of developing a nuclear weapon. So we have to now trust either the president's lying or the intelligence community is lying. One of them has a history of lying.
The JCPOA would have sunset anyway by its own provisions. It was a delay tactic, not a solution. But
is this not a delay tactic? Are they not
Charles, I'm a partisan
delay?
Don't even believe me. Believe the current leader of the Democratic Party in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, who said the JCPOA was a feckless waste of a deal, right? That was his position. That was a number of Democrats in the House. President Trump won the first election in large part because people saw the reality of this deal as not being effective long term. Fact.
No, so another fact is that they were able to get, I think it was 97, 98% of the nuclear material out of Iran under that deal. And they had inspectors on the ground to monitor whether or not Iran was living up to its end of that deal, which was to not enrich uranium at a large scale. I think they were doing something like able to enrich something like 3-4% of what they had before. Those are also facts on the ground, provable facts. And now we went from that to having no one there watching. And now we have to watch from across the ocean and listen to the Israelis who've been pushing for military intervention for over many presidents, but this one fell for it. And now we're in war, not with all of our kind of international colleagues, which what the last deal had. It had the U.S., UK, France, China, Russia, the whole European Union was supporting it. So that all that reporting would have come back to everyone. So now we're in by ourselves, start a war by ourselves, and now we're expected to pat this man on the back because he is trying to bring to a close a war that he started.